These two guys, where are they? Here and here, that you see on my screen, they say that Punta Cana is not the right move to make. And they're going to make the case today for other parts of the country being way better than my hometown. Jay, Jonah, welcome to Gruber Nation Live Weekly. How are you guys doing?
Man, I'm good. I'm ready.
Let's rock and roll, guys. Let's rock and roll. Let's have some fun.
If you're out there, drop in there where you are from, and then Punta Cana, Santo Domingo, or Santiago North Shore. What's your routing interest? So like from New York, go Santiago. From New York, go North Shore. From New York or from Miami, go wherever. Drop that down in the chat, and let's see what all of you have to say. Let's see. Hilda says hello. We've got Sherry, who says this will be epic. I agree, Sherry. Good to see you, by the way, Sherry. We already got one. Partera, who's amazing, says Santiago. We got, guys, people are working around this time. Dios mío, this is easy, Martin. Don't have a job. That's what we did, right? That's why we're doing it now. We're going to do it at 7 at night. What's the matter with you? Don't have a job. Sherry, this will be epic. Let's see. We got New Jersey, Norbert, Santiago. New Jersey with a Santiago preference. Whoa, they're coming in fast, guys. I got to keep up with them. Greetings from Charlotte, North Shore for sure. So what? Regina says the best. My favorite people are on. This is going to be epic. I think it will be. Caprice says Punta Cana. Amazing. I'm guessing you're in Punta Cana and love Punta Cana. Bobby, they crazy. Yes, we is. Que lo que, mi gente from New York and the North Coast says Plantigua. We have Puerto Plata, Cibao, the People's Cabana. Harry from Charlotte says Go Miches. Oh, interesting. We'll call that Punta Cana area. No question, Santiago it is, says Doug. Well, Doug lives in Santiago. Juan from New Jersey, anywhere without snow. I hear it's cold up there right now. New York, we got Santiago Jarabacoa from Jason. We got another Santiago. You know, it's funny. I'm going to guess. I'm watching from my office. Says, so what? Good to see you. Janet says, good afternoon. Good afternoon. We got Quebec with Miches. Hilda, cold New Jersey, go Punta Cana. Tennessee, go Sosua, Cabarete, Puerto Plata. I think we're going to get disproportionate North Shore Santiago group. Like,
that's what it looks like.
So are we just ending this right now? Is this it? Over?
Santiago people, this is credit. They are the most passionate about their hometown. Yep. It's insane. I almost did this like fun Instagram thing of like pretending to be somebody from each part of the country. So I was going to be like from Punta Cana, like a little stuffy, whatever. Santo Domingo, kind of like, in the city, whatever. Jarabacoa, like chilling in the mountains. And then Santiago is going to be somebody going, what about us? We're the best.
Yeah.
Only playing. We got a few more here. Ontario, Canada. Good to see you, Janet. New York City and Punta Cana says Jay Juncalito, baby. That's Jonah. You would know what that means. New Jersey with Punta Cana, Canada. We got another Punta Cana. Greetings from the Netherlands. Good to see you. Cap Cana from the beach in New Jersey. Philadelphia, another Santiago. We got Ocho Rios, Jamaica. Oh, greetings from there. Sherry, yes. Yeah, amazing. Bob from Manchester. They're coming in, man. Current New Jersey, future Punta Cana Village. Boricua from Alabama. Good to see you. 3 words, Rio San Juan. I love Rio San Juan. It's beautiful up there. You been there, Jay? I know Jonah has. Have you been there?
Where about Jarabacoa?
Rio San Juan.
No, haven't been there yet.
Time to go. We got to take them. We got a few more. Boston. Spent most of my time in the capital, but Santiago North Coast is slowly tearing me away. You got one, Jonah. LOL, Miches is not Punta Cana. I know it's not Punta Cana, but like the options were Punta Cana, Santo Domingo, or like Santiago North Shore. Miches wasn't in that, so I got to lump it. Like if somebody said Bani, I would lump it in with Santo Domingo, right? Like just lump it. I'm lumping. New Jersey, send me that shout out. Good to see you, Omaro Munoz. Good to see you. Montreal with Punta Cana. We got another Punta Cana. Be in Punta Cana in the next month and can't wait. Boy, we got a whole bunch here. Here we go. Cibao all the way. Hi from Barahona. Oh, way down there. Way down south. I just want to be in the DR. Raffle off a ticket with just me as the winner. And last one I'll pull up. Greetings from Maryland. Looking in Santiago. Thanks for the video about it. Of course. All right, here's what we're going to do, everybody, for your benefit, because I know you're all curious. Like so many of you are not biased at all toward one region or the other. Mind is way open to the possibility of another spot.
Did I see any Santo Domingo?
No, man.
No,
I think I got to kick you off.
I'm out, man. I'm out.
Even this, look, man, Arkansas, it's your neck of the woods, man, the South. North Shore. They're going North Shore. North Shore. Actually, Bunny as well. Problem with El Sur in general, the airport situation. Fair. Jay, we got one. Jay.
Juan Dolio.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
This Jay says no to Santo Domingo, Jay. So you got not only rejected on Santo Domingo, but by a fellow Jay. One more here. Toronto, we got 2 Wandolios. Coming back. All right, Jonah, we're going to start with you. Here's what I'm going to ask these guys to do. I want them to make the case for why. And then I, as the host, I get discretion to do whatever the hell I want with that. So, Jonah, why Santiago? Why North Shore over any other place in the country?
All right, so I'm going to start off first by saying that, and I mentioned this before, every region I feel like has its unique traits depending on the person. So, just because I'm representing Santiago doesn't mean that there's good things about Punta Cana and Santo Domingo. But for me personally, one of the reasons why I truly enjoy Santiago is because of the people. I love the slow pace of life. I think it has some of the best medical hospitals in the entire country. The medical tourism is definitely booming. You have a lot of growth, and it's from Santiagueros. For example, the airport in Santiago is being renovated. And then the North Coast. I mean, people say that it's far, but with the new Amber Highway that they're making through there, you're going to be able to get from Santiago to Puerto Plata and the North Coast in like under 35 minutes. And for me, that's a big pro. Living in Santo Domingo, going to the nearest beaches. I know Jay can talk about this more, but the nearest one that I usually go to is Juan Dolio, which takes about the same amount of time from Santiago to Puerto Plata. So those people that say Santiago doesn't have a beach, then, it's like, what do you mean Santiago doesn't have a beach? It takes the same amount of time from Naco Piantini to Juan Dolio during traffic that it does from Santiago to Puerto Plata. And then the other thing is that for me, it's one of the areas that I love the neighborhoods. I love, Los Amanes, Pontezuela. So you can have, whether you want to live in a home or if you want to live in a house, you can choose either or, which in Santo Domingo is a little bit more difficult because you have to go to Arroyo Hondo, which is further out from the cities and closest thing. But Santiago is definitely growing. The cost of living compared to Santo Domingo and Punta Cana is going to be a lot more affordable. And I like the direction that Santiago is heading in. So I'll leave it there for right now.
By the way, we're going to put a pin in that topic of cost of living because I made waves this week. Merely mentioning that you can live for more than $17 a month made waves. So I want to get your perspectives on this as we go through. Here's a couple of thoughts, a couple of questions, a couple of things I want to make sure I'm clear on. So you're saying about, cost of living for sure. You're saying Ambar Highway. So circa 2040, there'll be a highway that goes between Santiago and the north. I'm messing with you.
They have a La Turística, which takes you through like by Tamboril, which that one, I mean, from my house in Puerto Plata to like my aunt's house that I stay, I usually get there around 50 minutes. Okay. So right now, today, I take about 50 minutes to go from Santiago to Puerto Plata. Somebody asked about golf. There's golf in Puerto Plata. It's called Playa Dorada. So,
what about in Santiago, though? Is there decent golf in Santiago? By the way, participate, folks. Like Doug's saying right here, mic drop. And he said up here, Jonah is 100% right. I missed it. I don't know where it went. Oh, right here. Jonah's 100% right. Like, contribute. Make the case for Santiago alongside Jonah. But what about golf in Santiago?
Golf in Santiago, that's a great question. I'm not sure the country club has it. I would have to check. That's a good question. Doug, help me out, Doug.
Doug would know.
That's why you go to Puerto Plata on the weekend to disconnect and go golf in Playa Dorada.
I get it. So, Jonah, because you're the guy making the case, really, and it was eloquent. Jay, should we golf clap him? Let's give him a little clap here for making the case for Santiago, right? I mean, I know how much you love living there, right? So, I mean, obviously, a guy that loves Santiago so much, like which neighborhood? Where in Santiago do you live again?
To me?
Yeah.
Oh, you're throwing in my face now. Oh, he's calling me out right now.
As the host, I have wide discretion.
But hold on, let me defend myself now, okay? If I was single, okay,
yeah,
I have a wife, happy life, right?
Yeah.
So she's big on Santo Domingo.
Wait. If you were single, you'd be in Santiago. Like that's an honest question. If you're single,
I would not be in Santo Domingo. Yeah, I'd be in the North Shore. I love it.
Jay, if you were single, would you go north? Where would you go? Would you stay in Santo Domingo?
I'll stay in Santo Domingo.
If I was single,
he likes Santo Domingo.
if I was single, I'd go to Santo Domingo, personally. If I were single, it would definitely. Where are you? You're over here. I'm mirrored on my thing here. Am I pointing at you on your screen when I do that?
Okay, you're pointing at me.
Okay. I would be in Santo Domingo if I were single. I agree with that. Not that the other areas don't offer something, but like if I'm looking at like the best spot for a single, it's there. But Jonah, you would be killing it on the North Shore, picking up ladies.
I just really like the northern coast. I mean, since I've been, I don't know if it's because I grew up coming there. I grew up coming to Santo Domingo as well, but I just really like the people of Santiago. I feel like
they are amazing.
They are down to earth. They're prideful. If you want that true, authentic experience, I feel like Santiago offers it. The one thing that Santiago did lack was shopping, and last year with Agora Mall, it definitely helped elevate that, because before people would have to go to Santo Domingo. So a lot of the things that lacked in Santiago are now becoming available. And one of the biggest things that I really like is the direction that the medical tourism is heading with the new hospital that just opened up and inaugurated the Hospital of Advanced Medicine. So I think that's also another big point for Santiago. Not saying that Santo Domingo and Punta Cana don't have those, right. But when it comes down to them, I think that Santiago is a little bit ahead of Punta Cana and Santo Domingo.
Here's to emphasize that on medical tourism specifically. My father had or has a Parkinson's scare. We're still figuring out if he has Parkinson's, which today is way less the sort of sentence, if you will, than it was 20 years ago. It can be managed, right, which is great. But there is a breakthrough surgery where they can implant like a chip in the brain. And we don't know if he has it yet or not, but it looks like he might be something different that's causing symptoms that are like Parkinson's. But he, when I was researching, this chip, what came up? Homes in Santiago. There's a doctor there that specializes in this, and honestly, it wasn't even surprising to me. It was like, oh, actually, that makes. I can't believe I didn't think of that anyway. It was like Mayo Clinic. In the U.S., there was some hospital in Spain. They're talking the ones that have really made the news on this technology, and Holmes was one of them. Santiago, for me, if it is a medical issue, I'm going there. I mean, Santo Domingo has tons of hospitals. Punta Cana lacks in that area. I'll admit that. We've got a few hospitals, but we don't have that yet. As it grows, I think it will get that level 1 trauma, that all specialists on deck hospital here yet, and that's a detriment to Punta Cana at the moment. So Santiago has that. There was something else I was going to say about Santiago. The other thing I learned about Santiago, and I don't know, people in the chat, or maybe Jonah, if this is true or not. By the way, it looks like there's 2 courses in Santiago. So there you go. Is if you look at Santiago and how organized it is compared to Santo Domingo, especially, there's 2 things. One, there's this sort of agreement or co-op between 6 big families that own everything. They own the airport together, that new hospital, I can't think of the name of it. That's like a co-op between the 6. There's these 6 families that have aligned values. They've aligned on the best things for Santiago, and they've gone all in with everything that you're seeing in the past and the future. That's 1. And 2, I believe, maybe until recently, the whole of Santiago has one alcalde, one mayor. So that mayor has the ability to organize things across the city, whereas in Santo Domingo, there's the mayor, but the municipalities are in it. It's cut up by 6 different districts. So you, without knowing, as the person just driving through, you have no idea why does this feel different than there? You just cross through one district to the other. And I think Santiago's done a good job of that. Is that your understanding, Jonah, or other people in the chat? Is that what you know it to be?
Yeah, it is. For example, the people that own that new Residence Inn right next to the homes. It's part of the same family. And then one thing that I did forget to mention about Santiago that I like, that Punta Cana does have, is how clean it is.
Dude, it's super clean.
I love how clean Santiago is. One of the things that it kind of makes me sad whenever I come to Santo Domingo is when you're passing the toll and you're driving into the city and you see all that trash coming from Santiago. Yeah. It's sad. And then when you go into Santiago, it's completely different. You have the heart. It's clean. And I feel like it's going to be a little future. It's a futuristic city. The monorail, the teleférico. And I think that the planning that Santiago has, they're learning from the mistakes that Santo Domingo made with the traffic.
And by the way, Santiago's awfully hot in the summer because, that's the whole country's awfully hot in the summer. It's like a sweat box in Punta Cana in the summer as well. And I've been in Santo Domingo, Santiago, they are hot. one of the things that I would always say, like, not that people took it as criticism because Santiago people are very proud of Santiago. I was like, no, it's an analytical thing. Is like Santiago will always be disadvantaged from like a real estate growth standpoint, value growth standpoint, because it doesn't have one of the biggest assets people come here for, which is the beach. However, after visiting it recently, and I did that whole video on YouTube, which got a ton of people watching. Santiago loves Santiago. Like I said, like, wow, you know what they've done is they've done such a great job in that city of elevating medical tourism, logistics centers, the sort of the run downtown, the organization, the cleanliness, all of it, the new mall, the teleférico, the monorail, that they've overcome their biggest liability, which is direct beach access. They've almost like Medellin the city in a way. Fair?
Yeah. To add to that point, if you notice the architecture in Santiago, it's not like Santo Domingo where it's just like blocks.
Yeah.
They try to incorporate greenery similar to Medellin. So
yeah,
a
and
lot
even
of that,
the monorail next to the monument is being buried so that it doesn't obstruct the landscape or whatever. So you're saying essentially that, and I have one other question before we go to you, Jay. So get ready. You got to defend yourself here, Jay. Because there's a few Santo Domingo people that have popped up. Otherwise, we got a big Santiago, Punta Cana like bias here. But you're saying that if not for your wife, you're blaming her. You would be.
I'll tell, if she was here, I would tell her. Yeah.
What's her hesitation? Just family or?
No, she's built a community here in Santo Domingo. She has like her gym and stuff like that. So it's where we came. It is nothing against Santo Domingo. I mean, the biggest con for me, and Jay knows, I tell him all the time, is the traffic. I mean, Santo Domingo.
Jay loves the traffic.
Yeah, Jay, it's the traffic. Aside from that, Santo Domingo has everything. The trash, and somebody mentioned this here. Santiago, they're burying the cables, like which is nice. Which I think we need to do like all over. So I think somebody mentioned in the comments about cables. I think that is huge. So for me, I think it's a great place to raise families. You have great schools. You have Santiago Christian, you have Iberia, you have Dominicano, you have schools, and then you have neighborhoods. So if you want to live in a condo or in a house, you have those options.
All right, with kids, because you're representing not just Santiago on this debate, but also the North Shore. Mm-hmm. Single guy, you'd be on the North Shore. With kids, right now, if your wife said, hey, Jonah, wherever, where would you go? Would it be Santiago? Would it be Cabarete, Puerto Plata? Where would you go with your kids being today, tomorrow, if your wife said, let's move?
I love Santiago.
You go Santiago. Okay.
Santiago, because the thing is, you have like Puerto Plata's right there. It's a day trip.
Yeah.
So like that whole beach thing, it's not like you have to drive 2 or 3 hours. You can go to Punta Rusia 2 hours away with the new highway that they just opened up. And then the other thing is like what you have beach, and then you have Jarabacoa if you want mountains. So it's like centrally located. So you have like the topography is great. And for me, someone that likes being outdoors and always active, it gives me a variety of things to do within like an hour drive.
I like it. For me, I would struggle. I used to believe that Cabarete would be my number 2 spot as a dad with kids, and I like it up there. We go there often, right? I go Puerto Plata, Cabarete, Rio San Juan. So I love exploring up there. But the longer I've been here and the more I live here, right? As opposed to like, I'm here for a year or 2 or whatever, I could see for me, this doesn't mean it, but for me, Cabarete would get boring after a bit. I mean, you build community. Santiago, though, that elevated to my number 2. So, I'm going to rep Punta Cana here. But if I'm going with a family, Santiago is an easy number 2. And I think it's like number 3 is far away. I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you what number 3 would be. Probably would be the North Shore and then probably Santo Domingo. But it's like 1, 2, and then like 3, 4, like down here. So I'm with you on that.
Last thing to say is that we built a house in Puerto Plata, and we go all the time. As like Puerto Plata is definitely booming. Like Puerto Plata, there's a lot especially with the cruises. You see a lot of development going on in Puerto Plata. But with a family, I feel like there may be limited resources that I could have, whether it's after school activities, things to do for the kids. But at the same time, that also means opportunity for those people that are migrating here who may have those skills to be able to start businesses or whatever.
I love it. We're 113 strong right now on the live. What I would love for you to do is hit that like button, share this with friends. Let's get it out there. Throw it out there so people can see what we're doing. Bring them all into the party. We're about to get Jay, Big Sexy, as I've never called him until just now. We're going to get Jay to go. By the way, you like my new yellow chair, guys?
I love it.
You finally got it delivered.
I know, this is going to be like my thinking chair in my content now. Like when I have a real deep thought, yellow chair.
Your therapy chair.
My therapy chair. To clear up Royal BZ Fani 8215, he lives in Santo Domingo. I was trolling him on the fact
Everybody thinks I live in Santiago.
What's that?
Everybody thinks I live in Santiago.
Well, because you do a lot of stuff from there. You were the first that I saw to do stuff on the Agora Mall, to do on the hotel attached. Like you were one of the first guys, like, you know, in the English influencer space or whatever, to socialize that. So you do a lot in Santiago.
I love it.
It's funny because he lives in Santo Domingo, and I think I see Jamie more than I see Jonah.
He's all over.
He's on the go.
And not only that, you're about 5 minutes from me, and I still don't see you.
All right, Jay, we got a buddy for you here. Santo Domingo, close second, Las Terrenas. We'll talk a little bit about Las Terrenas in a little bit. I have my feelings there. Mario says that, make the case, my friend. Where are you? This way. Yeah, make the case, my friend, for your city, Santo Domingo.
Well, I'll say I personally, and you may clip this and may not, but I like Punta Cana and I like Santiago. I really do. I like Punta Cana for certain reasons and I like Santiago for certain reasons. But for my personality, personally, Santo Domingo is the spot for me. And I like it because it gives you that feel of a city where you're not in like this resort bubble. You know what I'm saying? And for me, Santo Domingo has these different layers, like, you know, neighborhood, culture, business district, nightlife, you know, local markets and things like that. I mean, it functions just like a real city. So I like that. I like the also like the aspect of like the cultural depth here. Yeah. You know, you have the museums, you know, you have the music in the streets, you have the colmados. So you have like this like daily Dominican life around you. It's not like you're observing it. You're actually, once you step out, you're in it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. I just like that part of the culture. Also, and nobody could debate me on this, the food variety is crazy here.
100%. You know, Santo Domingo, that's why I would live there if single. I'd be going out every night. There's a new restaurant every day of the year, and good ones.
Good restaurants. I mean, you go from, you know, authentic Dominican food, international cuisine, street food, and then you have these, you know, 5-star upscale restaurants, and then you have these hidden gems that nobody knows about that you know, you hit the corner, you're like, oh, there's one right there. So, you know, the food.
What is the thing that people, do you think, don't fully appreciate about your city, or they complain about your city or whatever, that you're like, they're wrong? Like I want you to be like countercultural to everything else you hear. Like, what do people not appreciate? Maybe they don't mention ever, and they're like, if people only knew, or something that they complain about with Santo Domingo, or I wouldn't live there because of this, that you think is overdone.
I don't think they appreciate, you know, basically all the things I just said. I don't think they appreciate the cultural depth, the variety, and the convenience of the city, because it's overshadowed by the traffic, is overshadowed by, you know, sometimes depending on where you are, the aesthetics of it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Where people, you know, I did a reel yesterday about how people, a guy stayed in his apartment he came down for 21 days and stayed in his Airbnb for 11 days because he felt unsafe, because he was in a part of town that the aesthetics just doesn't, you know, it doesn't meet your eye standards coming from the Western world. So, or coming from the US. So sometimes I think people don't really understand how the city works and how it flows. And it's not, and I said this in there, I say, if you step out in Punta Cana out of your Airbnb or even Puerto Plata, it's easy to get acclimated to that environment because of just, I mean, you can see what's going on. In Santo Domingo, you step out, no matter where you are, you're in the jungle. And that doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that everything is happening around you. And if you're not able to understand how the city works, it can be overwhelming and it can scare you off.
Yeah, this person says Santo Domingo's issue is the traffic. Chrome Air OJR, 100%. You actually, I mean, Jay, if I hooked you up with a lie detector, I stuck it on your arm and your chest and all that stuff, I have heard you say two things, and I'm going to share the first one in a second. Two things that to me are ridiculous.
Okay.
The first one is, I actually like the traffic. Jay, defend that. Defend yourself.
I do, and I'm gonna tell you
Let me
why.
step back for this one.
Okay. Yeah, lay back in your chair. I will correct. I wouldn't say I love it. It just doesn't bother me because I don't have anywhere to be at any given time. So when I'm in traffic, I'm just there and I'm taking it all in. Now, if I was trying to get to like work or get to, an appointment or something like that, that I had to be somewhere at a specific time, it probably can be irritating. But since I don't, it just doesn't really bother me.
So we got this one. The capital's traffic is insane from Solunab. This person says, Richard, go to lunch in Santo Domingo, takes 6 hours, not after 3 p.m. And then we had somebody from the UK, Capri Stalia, maybe? I'm currently in Santo Domingo from the UK, and it's definitely overwhelming, I think, to your point. I had the second crazy thing that you've said, and I excoriated you and put you in your place online on this one.
Oh, man.
How in the world, that was a fun reel to do. How in the world do you say that Santo Domingo is better for kids than Punta Cana? Defend yourself. I'll sit back again.
Oh, you know what? I think people misinterpreted what I was saying. I think they were looking at safety is better than kids for safety.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, when I say it's better for kids, I was meaning that it's more activities and things to do for kids than Punta Cana, and it is. It's a better place for. I mean, well, that may be subjective. That just may be my opinion. Let me say,
that's what we're here for. We're here for your opinion.
Yeah, I think that it's better. I mean, you have all these different places where kids can go and have a good time. Now, I do understand Punta Cana does have, some water parks and some of these tourist things, which, I mean, those things cost, has a bigger price tag than you taking your kids. Like over here, we got Chuck E. Cheese. We got some of these Screamland and things like that, where it's more cost effective for kids to have a good time here. Then you got all the parks and all the things over here. Matter of fact, just so I said, we got a Dave and Buster's now. So Punta Cana catch up. All right.
You know what we need that you have? I don't want Dave and Buster's. That's ridiculous. But I do want a Price Mart. We're getting one in La Romana. It's the close. I'm like, why isn't it coming all the way here? Whatever. But to your point, where are you? To your point, right. And Joan, I know you wanted to get in, so I'm going to give you that space here in a sec. But to your point, Jay, the kid places to go, like my two boys, we do like a solo get together, like a solo weekend a couple times a year, like me and one and then me and the other, just daddy son for the weekend or whatever. And the older one wanted to go to a resort, so we did. The younger one's like Summit at Summit, right? So like there's definitely more like kid things to do. My argument on the other end is when you're in Punta Cana, there's so many people say like, oh, don't your kids get bored or don't you get bored in Punta Cana? It's like, well, if I didn't have kids, maybe, unless I lived in like Cortecito Corrales, but there's so many things going on for kids that are like the social calendar without going anywhere. Just staying in your neighborhood is full. You have soccer and tennis and baseball and all these things going on, and then birthday parties and, come across the street to our house. We're getting pizza. We're going out here. We're going to grab this. We're going to grab that. Like, you don't go use all that stuff that you were talking about, like the water park and all that, unless you're newer here or literally, like sometimes it's like, all right, we got nothing to do on a Saturday. Let's go to El Dorado or something like that. So, but I'll allow it.
Pretty isolated, though. You're talking being isolated in Punta Cana Village where those things are happening. What about
No. Between like the soccer groups, like we play at Cap Cana, we play in Vista Cana, we play in Pueblo Bávaro. They come here. We go to friends in Costa Cana. It's the whole of Punta Cana, right? Okay. So like I think that's honestly, I think this is a really good like you said about misconceptions about Santo Domingo. One of the biggest misconceptions about Punta Cana is that it is overwhelmingly tourists. Like it's only built for tourists. Like, of course, it's a tourist hub. But what's underappreciated or misunderstood is that there is a robust community between all these different little mini cities, Punta Cana Village, Cap Cana, Sierra de la Palma, Vista Cana, all. There's a robust community here, evidenced to me by 7K through 12 U.S. accredited schools. Like, as much as it's tourism, let's say tourism's at a 9, community's like at a 7, 7.5, like as a location to live. But like you said with Santo Domingo, people don't know how to navigate that. You see the facade of all the billboards and the buses and all that stuff. But like right behind that, there's a robust family network here, which is pretty cool. That's my defense of Punta Cana. Jonah, you wanted to get in on this traffic, Santo Domingo kids.
No, this is good though, because I have investment properties in all of 3 areas that we talked about, right? So I just bought something in Punta Cana, and to Jay's point, one of the things that has always kind of kept me, and Jamie, we talked about this because I even asked you before I talked about it, was activities for my daughters. Like, for example, like, you know, I don't want to have to be limited with how many ballet schools there are, or
that's Santo Domingo.
In Santo Domingo, right? So to Jay's point, to Jamie's point, one thing that I have noticed recently, because I've been going there a lot, because obviously y'all know that I'm selling real estate, is that I have noticed that people are deciding more and more to make Punta Cana home, not just a vacation place, right? The Punta Cana of today is completely different, and I'm speaking because I talk about Punta Cana and people are like, "Oh, you hate Punta Cana." No, it's not that I hate Punta Cana. It's just
like you with Santiago. Like, I don't hate Santiago. I just think these are some limitations. But yeah, go ahead.
But what I think it is I truly dislike when people go to Punta Cana and they stay in a resort and then they upload videos about how their experience was bad, how they had bad food, and they use it as a reflection of the Dominican Republic, right? So that's my issue with it, right? Because, you know, to Jay's defense, like when we step out here or in Santiago, Puerto Plata, you're in DR, right? Yeah. But if you're in Punta Cana Village or even Vista Cana, right, you're still like in a bubble, right?
You got to drive to the real Dominican, if you will. Correct.
Exactly.
And get on for you to go wherever.
Yeah, and most of the people are going to be foreign, or not most people, but a lot of people are going to be foreigners. So it's going to have a different feel. In Punta Cana, you have the new Sirena that just opened right in front of Vista Cana Village. You have the new Bravo. So there's definitely a lot of new things. There are a lot of new things that are going in there because it's evident that people are deciding to make it home, right? But to Jay's point, one of the things at Punta Cana is that I feel like it's limited as far as restaurants, like the complete opposite of Jay, because when we go there. And the same thing goes with Puerto Plata too. It's not to like bash, because I'll be
no. There's a lot of restaurants, but they're all the same menu. That's been my complaint in Punta Cana.
And that's my thing about it. It's like it's pasta, it's burgers. It's kind of geared more towards tourists. And I remember I made a video, and nobody could tell me till this day. You know what, Jamie? Now this is for you. Where in Punta Cana can I get some good, authentic food? And don't tell me the place that's in Punta Cana Village at Little Strip, or the one in
that's terrible. No.
Yeah, or the one in downtown Punta Cana.
No. Mofonguitos in Bávaro, Verón, like kind of on the edge of downtown, inside of Foodies Park, is really good. It's right by it's just before Vista Cana on the left, like a parador, like a little spot there.
I've heard about that spot.
It's good, man. So but to your point, I've always said this, when you step outside, if you want to compare Puerto Plata to Punta Cana, when you step outside in Puerto Plata, you're in like this feeling of another culture. And then you have to drive 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get to the big box, right? Like the grocery stores or whatever. When you step outside in Punta Cana, you're in the big box, right? Like all the stuff is right there. Then you got to drive 10, 15 minutes to get to Friusa, Friusa a little further now, but Verón, Friusa, or like the authentic Dominican. So no, that's a very fair assessment of the two, 100%. So I like that. All right. There was, let's see, there was something else here I saw a second ago. But this is what I want to talk about cost of living. So Norbert says, my brother Jay, thank God you have the privilege of living in a great high-end area of Santo Domingo where only a select few can afford to live. Hope you don't get me the wrong way. No, nobody gets you the wrong way. This is what comes to me when I read this, and I see this a lot. A couple thoughts. One is select few. That doesn't resonate with me. Like if I go through the center of Santo Domingo and I go to Bella Vista, Gasquay, Piantini, Naco, I can never pronounce the Casicacasis one. What's that called? That. Or north up to Arroyo Hondo, or anything kind of in the middle, right? Like there's some
Paraíso, Evaristo Morales, Lo Millón.
That's like, is it millions of people? You know what I mean?
Millions. Like and when they say a select few, is like 3.
Select few to me is like people say that with Punta Cana Village, like, oh, it's only a few people. Like the village alone has like 1,500 people. I mean, that's not a lot, but it's not like nobody. And that's like, there's more people coming. There's there's one up the street that's like the village, one over there, whatever. I have the same assessment of this. And I think it goes to a broader narrative that there is only a 1% that live well in DR versus what I see, which is There's 20% that live like, your $300-400 a month kind of lifestyle. And then within that, there's a portion that's like extreme poverty, like sad poverty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got this like 60% in the middle. On the low end, they're like right at that, like on the edge of poor, but a little bit more. On the high end, they have a couple cars, they have a job, they make, I don't know, $1,000 to $2,000 a month. They might even have a cleaning lady, right? Like there's that range. And then I believe that there's a 20%, and many are Dominicans. And that's the thing. People are like, oh, it's just Americans. Like, Jonah, many are Dominicans that live on a spectrum of like reasonably well to ridiculous, for sure. So, Jonah, what do you think on that?
Yeah, so I want to speak on this because this is a topic that kind of frustrates me. I think all three of us in here, we get those comments like y'all live in a bubble.
Yes, and I do. Wait a minute, I do live in a bubble. So do you, but I lived in a bubble in the United States. I didn't go to South Detroit, right? Yeah. I always have been to live in a bubble. So go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. And that's where I was going with that, I didn't show my life in the States, but if I would have shown my life in the States, it was the same thing. But to be clear, everything I have, I earned. So I didn't work my ass off to not be in the best neighborhood, right? And my family that's lived here, a lot of my family is very well off, and they don't even speak a lick of English. In my apartment building, Jay, I don't know about yours, but mine here, like it's $500,000 and up, right, for an apartment. There's not one single foreigner here. They're all Dominican. Okay.
Same here.
So like that whole thing about, like it's not Dominicans. Like I'm telling you, in my building, I'm the only one I think that swear that speaks English in my building. Nobody else speaks, because everybody is Dominican. They're all professionals. They're entrepreneurs. I have a politician.
I got to jump in the village, which people consider this like whatever. I ask this of Dominicans that I meet in the village, and I probably asked, I'm going to say 100, because I had my assessment, and I would say, what percentage of the village is Dominican? The range, the lowest I've gotten is 65%. The highest I've gotten is 80%. I've said 70. I said 7 out of 10 are Dominicans. Now, they may have moved to the States, moved to Europe, moved to Canada, made some money, moved back, like you, but they're Dominicans. So I want to make that point. Like, this is not, there's a narrative that like some of these areas, honestly, if there's one spot that I see visibly the most per capita non-Dominicans, for me, it's Cabarete. That's like all Canadian. Right. There's a ton of Canadians there. I don't get the narrative that, anyway, sorry, continue, Jonah. I stepped on you there. My bad, buddy.
No, it's fine. And so, and one thing that people, I feel like whenever we talk about Dominican Republic, people get so offended. They're like, oh, what's this? Guys, it's relative everywhere. The 1% in the US lives well. You have 78% of the people in the States that are living paycheck to paycheck. Yes, wages are low here. The same thing over there. The federal minimum wage is $7.25 legally, right? Or $7.50. It hasn't changed.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that, it's frustrating though, because I'm a big person. I'm a big believer in mindset. I don't like playing victim. I believe in creating opportunities for yourself. And that's what allowed me to be here. And then people want to crucify us for being in these neighborhoods after we busted our tail. And, the same thing happens in the States or anywhere around the world. The only reason why I talk about the US is because that's where I came from, right? And so it's not like a bash towards the US, because that's another misconception that people have, that when I compare it, that they think that I'm trying to talk poorly about the US. And it's not that I'm talking poorly about the US. It's just that, there are imperfections. And when you love a country, whether it's the US or DR, you're going to defend it by any means necessary. Yeah. And for me, I'm the only one in here out of the three of us that has like Dominican blood that runs through our veins. And it's great to see our country where it is today. 30, 40 years ago, when I was growing up in Texas, people didn't know where Dominican Republic was on a map. Now we have over 11 million people that are visiting the island every single year. We have, consistent economic growth over the last 20 years. Bank of America said that we were one of the quickest recovering economies after COVID. So there are a lot of things that us Dominicans alone, we focus so much on the negative that we don't focus on the positive things that this country has, that so many foreigners like yourself, Jamie, like yourself, Jay, that you come out here and you appreciate about the culture. And so when I see these type of comments, it's sad though, because there's so many Dominican entrepreneurs that are thriving, that are successful, that have built their businesses, that have created jobs, that, send their kids not only to the US, but go study other parts of the world.
Jay, it's all drug money, right? It's all laundering.
Right.
Yeah, sorry, Jonah. It's all drug money. It's all laundering, right? That's all it is. It's just all fronts. It's all money laundering.
Yeah. And so at the end of the day, it's like, well, do you keep that vibe whenever people are talking about Miami or the bros that are renting a Lamborghini that are paying $1,000 every single week so they can go around and try to impress people, or the money laundering that goes on in Dubai that people just want to ignore, right? But because of the Dominican Republic, they want to continue this negative stereotype of it. And so I'm just tired of it.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. That's well said. I'm not even Dominican, but there's two things that came to my mind when you were saying that. Like, if you look at the percentages we were talking about, my own household, Jay, yours as well, is 75% Dominican, 25% American. My wife's Dominican. My two kids are, they're half and half, but they're being raised here. They're culturally Dominican, right? Jay, in your house, it's 2/3, right? Your daughter and your wife are Dominican, and then there's you, right? So that's kind of the representation. Like, when you see me, Jay, a lot of people I meet that are American or Canadian, they're coming as an accessory to a Dominican, a spouse of Dominican or whatever. But Jay, this has your name specifically in it, so I want to make sure you have a chance to kind of address. Do you feel the same way as far as a small number and whatever? Any thoughts on this you want to share?
No, when I see stuff like that, I really, the first thing comes to my mind is they're just regurgitating information that they've heard. They really don't understand what's actually going on here, because if you, and I'm gonna be honest, I had the same mindset a long time ago when I was visiting here.
Yep.
But when I moved here, and then I moved into the neighborhood that I moved into, and I started to look around, I immediately, that went out the window, because I said, no, this is not the case. The case is not that every Dominican is poor. It's just not the case. Like Jonah was saying, in my building, I'm the only American here. And it's probably about 50, 60 apartments here. I'm the only American here. So, and I don't like when they say things like that, because it seems as if they believe that Dominicans are they can only excel to a certain level. Yeah, they're poor. They
we're poor. Say it, Jay. We're poor.
They're all poor, and that is just not the case. And I'm not even Dominican. It bothers me when they
I know that's my point.
It bothers me, and it's like, and it's like, no, I got a neighbor who, she's right across the hall, who works at a bank, who makes a decent living, who I walk in her apartment and, man, I look at her, I'm like, wow, this is nice. You know what I'm saying? I got two working class neighbors who, well, they didn't have a child, or they just had a baby recently, but, that can afford this lifestyle. So to say that Americans are the only people that can afford this is just a lie. And I seen a video the other day where a guy was, he was doing a cost of living video. He was walking to, well, I'm going to show you the $200-$300 apartments, because the stuff I see with these other guys is not reality. And I'm like, well, I don't know about you. Maybe that's your reality, but I'm going to tell you, it's not my reality. The reality is that people can afford to stay in these places. In Piantini, Naco, Bella Vista, I would say 60 to 70% of our Dominicans who occupy all these towers here. I believe that.
I love this. Michelle says select few. And we weren't getting on, I forget who made that comment. It's not like, but just, I love to reset the record on this. I think that's what all of us try to do. Like, the reality here, there's good, there's bad, right? There's sad, there's great, there's all of the things in between. But the middle class in DR has exploded over the past 30 plus years that I've been there. Back in the late 80s, there wasn't even luxury high rises in Santo Domingo. I think that's a very sobering, specific, relevant statement. I completely agree. Thank you for that, Michelle. Because
this is what and I'm glad she said that, because that's another misconception, that there's no middle class. It's either you got money or you don't, and that's not true.
It's a different middle class from the U.S. I think in the U.S., middle class has come almost like 80,000 to 200,000 a year is middle class in the U.S., right? So and that's pretty good. But here, middle class might be, less socioeconomically, but you can, depending on where you live, the cost of housing can be much less. The cost of lifestyle can be much less, but you're still living a quote unquote middle class lifestyle. Am I fair with that?
John? And then another thing that we're forgetting is how many people in the U.S. right now can afford a home. Yeah. So why are we focusing on DR people not being able to buy a home when in the U.S. people are struggling to buy homes right now?
100%. Let me say one thing too before we move, Jay. I remember I did a video where I went to the Bravo and I bought some groceries, and it came out to be like $200.
Yeah.
People like, well, the average Dominican, they can't afford that. You're lucky, this and that. But here's the thing. But then when I go over here to the Bad Bunny concert, and I'm spending $300 and $400 for tickets, and all those Dominicans in the Bad Bunny concert They never say things about, oh, the Dominican only makes this money. Or when I'm at the bars and the lounges and they're buying $4,000 and $5,000 bottles, you know, and they have a table full. They never say, well, Dominicans only make such and such. It's only when it comes to like some of the necessities, they say, well, oh, Dominicans are poor, they can't afford it. But whenever they want to have a good time, they find the money then. But it's hard for them if they need food. And that's the part I don't like either, if that makes any sense.
And Mario says, oh, go ahead.
No, the thing is like one thing that I've noticed, and y'all see my content. I go to underserved communities here all the time. I was just in Bonao. I go all over the country. And it doesn't matter if it's here, the US, China, Spain, whatever. It all comes down to the individual.
Yeah.
And we live in a country where there's opportunities. And I do believe that there is a Dominican dream. We don't live in Cuba and we don't live in North Korea. If you want to start a business here in Dominican Republic, you can start a business here in Dominican Republic. You can go to the office. They can teach you how to open a business. They'll walk you through it. That's what happened to me. They'll teach you everything and they do it. That bureaucracy, that all that stuff, those are individuals who are putting roadblocks in their way without learning how to navigate life, or how to navigate or overcome obstacles that life throws at you. And so in DR, there is opportunity. I know tons of people. The guy who sells aguacate downstairs, he sells them for 100. He makes 20,000 pesos a day. 20,000 pesos.
Does he have a Verifone?
No, but in Brazil they do that.
There's avocado guys here that have Veriphones.
Really?
Oh, here you go. There you go. Just scan it. But I like what Mario said. I want to make a point on that. From my experience, relationship, majority of high-income residents living in Santo Domingo are Dominican residents. I love that. That's just another bit of affirmation. Jonah, with this one, like this is where I would yield to you since you're Dominican. But my sense is, and I know I could come across as on the perch, right, up in the bubble, the whole thing. But my sense is that, not even my sense. Here's a fact. There will always be haves. There will always be have-nots. The key to me is when a society gets to a point where it's clear that being a have-not is a choice, meaning there are options not to be, and you choose not to take those roads. I don't know, I don't believe yet that DR is at a place where there is opportunity for anyone that wants it. I don't know if that's because I don't feel being a white American dude, I should even have an opinion on this, or if that's reality. But I think we're at least trending toward a place where in this country, there will be a time, and I don't think it's in the too far distant future, and maybe you think it's already here, where if somebody wants, there is opportunity for them. Is that true, or are we trending toward that reality?
Okay, so that's a good point. The first thing I'm going to say with that is I believe that there's opportunity because obviously y'all see my content. So I'm literally talking to street vendors, people that are selling food on the corners, avocado. I'm talking to all social economic classes. I'm not somebody that's just going to focus on the people that live in Naco Pantini. I focus on every single person. So for me, I believe now one thing that I don't agree, and this is something that is another discussion, but that the Dominican government incentivizes they give a lot of tax breaks and credits to foreign entities. I feel like they should invest that into Dominicans so that Dominicans can starting businesses here through funding, through business loans, so that they can help Dominicans here instead of helping foreign entities and these big companies come in here, take money, and then, a small percentage of that stay here in the country and, help the boardrooms with the board of directors in other countries. So for me, I do believe it, but I think that we can still improve and we can try to help our people through different resources, through tax breaks, through instead of a first-time home buyer, maybe like a first-time business grant or something like that. But I do believe that there's opportunity here, yes, because I've seen it with my own eyes.
Same, I have too. I come from that perspective, watching multiple in-laws that I've known for a long time now rise from nothing. My wife comes from nothing, right? And seeing her family, like the only reason she comes from anything is because of the generation before and the opportunities they seized. I've also seen members of her family rise, fall, and re-rise, right? Like they've gotten to bad investments, lost it all, got cleaned out, and they're back up. You know what I mean? So like I see this, but then the narrative you hear overwhelmingly, and look, we're in the content space. I heard this said, it's like the Dunning-Kruger effect. Like when people are so certain, they speak with certainty, and it's actually ignorance, right? Like, so those are the ones who speak up. Those that don't are more discerning, like, this could be true, that could be true. And those are the people that don't. The majority of people who listen to all of us, they don't comment. And I don't comment on YouTube videos, you know what I mean? So Jay's the only one of the three of us that likes to actually comment on YouTube videos. But you do hear the echo chamber of like, no, it's so bad, no, it's so bad, no, it's bad. It gets in your head like, what are people seeing? But anyway, there's two other topics I want to touch. One is cost of living, the other is Las Serenas. And this one I want to ask it this way for you. Like senor, that person, you get what you pay for, end of story. I'm curious for you guys. And I will say it was a 0% consideration for us. What percentage consideration for you in moving to DR was cost of living?
Oh, 0.
0 for you. Jay, it was something for you, yeah?
It was something for me.
What percentage? Is it half of the reason? 20%?
I would probably say 50%.
50%. Jonah, let's talk about you. Why was it like, so if you didn't move for cost of living, because here's the thing, not to get on a soapbox, but when I did this reel about like you can live for $1,000 a month or you can live for $10,000 a month, all people heard was $10,000 a month. That's ridiculous. Dominicans only make $300. All that, right? Like it's all it was. It was just, I went live after like, hey, dummies, you could do it for 1,000, you could do it for 10,000. But what this person says here, you get what you pay for, is so true. And then what's flooring to me, people were saying like, why move there if not to save money? And I was like, I moved here for a safer environment for my kids because it's better weather. We embrace the culture and we love it. We make money, the same money, if I live here, there, Dubai, Spain. Like I've got a virtual sort of business, if you will. Like all of my business can be done from anywhere. So like I didn't move here thinking like, oh, I'm going to save money. I only want to spend 70%. And I'm not saying it's bad to do that, but there is sort of like how could anyone move there if not to save money? And that's my response. Jonah, what do you say on this topic?
Well, real quick though, I actually made a video talking about DR not being cheap.
Yes, it's not. It's less expensive, but it's not cheap.
Yeah, it's not cheap though. Like I mean, last year I traveled to Brazil, Canada, Guatemala, and El Salvador, and DR was the most expensive one.
Yes.
Right? Like
I
when
went
it
to
comes
Peru,
to
dude. $8,000 for 4 of us to fly, train, boat, food, 10 days. $8,000, $2,000 a person for 10 days in traveling around Peru. Can't do that here.
So for me, it's been rooted, like I said, I'm the only Dominican here. So for me, it's been rooted from a long time ago. And I've said it plenty of times. I fell in love with DR like in the 80s, early 90s when it had no water power, right? Why? Because I saw how people were. They were human. They cared for one another. You knew your neighbor. You know, if you didn't have sugar, you would go to your vecina. Oh yeah, vecina, necesito azúcar. Whatever the case is, right? Those things always drew my attention because when I would go to the States where I had hot water, I had electricity, I lived in an affluent neighborhood, people always complained. So for my daughters, like you said, Jamie, like it was safety. I know a lot of people get on me about this, but education. I believe that when it comes down to like private education, because that's what I'm comparing it with, private education, I believe that kids here are 1,000% better prepared.
My 10-year-old said that. My 10-year-old said kids from the U.S. and Canada seem less mature. He literally said that.
Well, I'm noticing that though, because when we hang out with friends that have kids from the States, the conversations that my daughter's having, it goes over their head. Like they are talking about stuff. They're reading and writing. My daughter was reading and writing by 5 English and Spanish, 2 languages, right? So like those are things that over there. I grew up in Texas. So back in the 80s, early 90s, it was kind of frowned upon to even speak Spanish. So I kind of had to hide my identity. Here, my daughters are able to grow. My youngest daughter has real curly hair. She doesn't have to change it because there's 4 or 5 classmates of hers that has her hair. She embraces it. She's able to grow up where her roots are. No one's going to be able to tell her to go back to where she came from. So for me, it was way deeper than the cost of living. That wasn't even a thing that I would even thought about, to be honest with you, because you know, for me, I financially prepared myself that if I wanted to pick up and leave and move to wherever I wanted to move to, I could.
Jonah, was it more, were you like, I was surprised by how much more expensive it was to live here. Again, it wasn't like I sat there going like, let me figure it out before I move. A blessing that I could do that, right? Granted. But for you, for me, it was like electric was way more than I was expecting. Groceries were way more than I was expecting. Gas was more than I was expecting. Same, was it like, when you moved here, you kind of have an expectation, okay, I'm going to move. But I found like, shit, it's more expensive than I thought it was going to be. Was that the same for you?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, to Jay's point, when he was talking about Santo Domingo, the thing about here in DR. One thing that I've noticed, there are a lot of social activities. There's always something going on, and that
cost is big, man. That cost is big.
Exactly, and that's something that people don't talk about enough, right? So if I go out and Jay, I mean, let's say we go out to Turo or something, that's not going to be a $20 meal.
$200.
Exactly, right? $200, right? And if you're doing that 3 times a week, that's $600. If you want to buy a new car, electronics, because people only think about rent. They forget about anything else. They forget they have to furnish the apartment. They forget they have to do any of those things. Furniture here is hell of expensive.
Yes, nice furniture, especially. We looked at a patio for outside, $5,000, a patio set, a nice one. Like we can get a cheap one, but you can feel it. It's like as soon as you touch it, So yeah,
exactly. So when it comes down to like cost of living, I'm going to say definitely the North Coast, what I'm representing, is definitely going to be the most affordable. Yep. Then I'm going to say Santo Domingo. Punta Cana is expensive, especially all the electricity out there.
$500, $600 a month.
Yeah, the electricity is crazy.
I turned the AC on in this room and I was like, oh, goddamn, let's make this quick. All right, Jay, what say you on cost of living as a variable for moving? And then the other, maybe start with, did it end up being more? I know you lived here once before, so maybe you can even go back to them, but was it more or less expensive about what you expected as far as moving here? And then just talk about cost of living, your perspective on this.
Well, I mean, just sitting here as I was listening to Jonah talk, when I was thinking, did I move here for cost of living? I had to really think about that because, as you said, I did live here before. So living here before, having a restaurant and that, not working and moving back, I always wanted to come back. So the cost of living wasn't in my mind at the time. Hey, I want to go back because of the cost of living. However, However, it did play a part. I'm not going to say I wouldn't think about it, but yeah, I was living in Fort Lauderdale at the time. So of course, me coming from Fort Lauderdale to here, I was, I saved, especially through accommodations, about 40% in terms of my accommodations rent.
Yeah.
I think with cost of living, I know a lot of people, when they think of cost of living, they only include like rent. And as you say, Jamie, you were talking about food, but I go back to say, and gas, everybody don't have a car. So gas is, one of those variables, but, I go back and I tell people, well, you need to want to consider more than that. What about your barbershop visits? I get a haircut for $8 when I was paying $35 in the States. You know what I'm saying? My wife gets her hair done for $4. You know what I'm saying? And she, over there, it was $50, $60 to get her hair done. So to plug a tire is 200 pesos. In the States, so you got to think about those little small things that you save on, because the first thing people say is the rent is this much and the food costs, and even the food, even though to me the food is still 20% cheaper to me.
Most of it, yes.
Yeah, most of it's 20% cheaper. I'm not paying more unless I get imported goods. I'm paying more than what I paid in the States. And I guess when people say it's expensive, they expect it to be cut in half, but it's not cut in half. The food definitely not cut in half. Even going out is less expensive. You talking about Turo, which is a 5-star restaurant. You go to a 5-star restaurant in New York and Miami.
Yeah.
Right. It's still less expensive. So you still got to consider those pieces too. So that's what I say about cost of living.
So real quick on this, there's so much good here. I just want to throw this out there. I think the lower the quote somebody gives you for what their living is, their cost of living is, the larger percentage you should add to it to be realistic. And here's what I mean. When I hear I live for $800 a month, my family, my kid, all that stuff, I'm like, you're talking like I could ask 5 questions and get 5 new expenses out of you that you didn't consider in that 800. So if you say 800, please mark that up by 200 to 300%. And I only say that not because it's cool, but if you're saying, oh my God, they live for 800, I make 1,500, easily I can live there. That 800 quickly becomes $1,600, $1,800, $1,900 a month. Just on different things. More people are going to visit you here. You're going to go do things. A microwave blows out, whatever. The higher the budget, somebody says, if they say $10,000 a month, they may still be slightly under, but it's probably more like 10%, right? So like the lower the budget, add a lot more fluff. And if you're like, look, somebody told me $800 a month, I make $5,000 passively, you're good. You're good. You'll have a great life because you can spend $2,000, $3,000 at most, and you can have a great life in a lot of places for $2,000, $3,000. But you can also live on 10K. But here's the other part about that. 10K here, while that sounds like, oh my God, how could you? Like, let me tell you what 10K looks like, okay? For 10K a month here, I don't clean, cook, do laundry, wash my car. Somebody comes to the house to do that once a week. My dogs just got groomed at my house once a week. If I wanted to have a barber come in, and I do it occasionally just to treat myself, they'll come to my house. I do it myself, but like once a week, I'm like, just shave me, make me look nice.
That's robbery.
But they come to the house, right? I could have a driver. I don't, but I could have a driver to take my kids to school. I'm in a top-notch private school for my kids. I live in a top-notch Hampton-style neighborhood. For, you know what I mean? Like, what you get for the money is way more than what you get there. Doesn't mean you're not going to spend money, though, right? Like, you're not going to get I love to live like a king in DR for $1,000. Like, king of, like, what?
No, you're not living like king.
Right.
Something else that people fail to understand is like, what's your lifestyle going to be like?
100%.
So like, that's one of the things that in our group we talked about, and like the first meeting we had, I told everybody, I'm like, look, if you're coming to DR to try to like live the life of your favorite influencer, you're setting yourself up for failure. I'm like, you need to have a clear understanding as to what you want your life in DR to look like, right? Because the thing is, everyone has a different vision of what their life is going to be here. You know, for us, you know, we love the help, we love the cooking, we love the nanny, we love those things that makes our life much easier. But not everybody has kids. So for me to say that you need $5,000 a month if you're a single individual who's eating ramen all the time, you know, that's completely unfair. So every scenario is different. Every budget's going to be different because everyone's trying to live a different life here in Dominican Republic. And the biggest tip I can give to every single person that's watching this right now is to have a clear understanding as to what your day-to-day life and what your vision is to living in DR so that you set yourself up for success. Because a lot of people come out here thinking that DR is one thing, and then when they move, it's another. And then they want to blame DR for not being financially prepared, not finding the right home, not finding the right neighborhood. And that's your fault. That's not Dominican Republic's fault. And
Right.
so I think that a lot of people need to do maybe a little bit more digging to understand what it is that they truly want. Because once you have that clear understanding, everything else will fall in place.
And you're not going to change. Like, look, anybody on this call, you could type it in the comments. Like, yes, answer this honestly. Have you ever stopped at a Starbucks without intending to get a frap or a frappuccino? Have you ever got the ingredients to make dinner that night and then said, F it, just order pizza? If you've done those things, or you do that once or more a month now, which unless there is a small percentage of human beings that are really disciplined on never like going outside of their thing, but most of us do. And I don't know why people think that's going to change when they come here. You know what I mean? Like, you're the same person. You're still going to, we got the food, but order a pizza. Even here more, like you said, Jonah, somebody's coming over that we didn't expect. Like, let's go get some stuff from the store. Jay, you were going to say something.
So two things, and I agree with what you just said. One thing is that living here and vacationing here is two different things.
Very.
So
yes.
people come over here and they vacation and then they say, oh, it's expensive. But when you live here, you're not going to use those same. You're not buying gifts for the whole family. You're not going to the beach every weekend, things like that. And number two is that what you said, Jamie, is that if you come over here, some people try to come over here and live the lifestyle that they wasn't even living in the States.
Right.
So why are you coming over here trying to live the same lifestyle? And I tell people all the time, basically what you said, Jonah, is that you want to envision what your life is going to look like. Because a guy asked me in a recent interview, he was like, about cost of living. I said, well, when I wanted to come over here, me and my wife budget, hey, we're going to pay $700 for accommodations. But then when we started saying, okay, this is what we want, this is what we want, this is the area, we need this, because we had this elevator in our apartment in Fort Lauderdale, and we had this, and we had that, and we want to do this. That just didn't come up to a $700 a month accommodation. So you have to know exactly what you want your life to look like, and you can then base your budget around that. Now, some people don't need a whole lot. If you don't need a whole lot and $200 or $300 a month works for you, great. Fine. It just doesn't work for me.
Go ahead, John.
One thing is, like, since I'm in the real estate world and I'm selling, like, we sell real estate clients, I cannot tell you how many times people are surprised at the prices here in DR. It's like they want Casa de Campo homes for barrio prices, like something, right? It's like, what? And it's like DR is not cheap. Like, you know, like for you to find something decent in a good neighborhood, gated, like to hit all your checks, like it is expensive. But yeah, that's something.
Couple things on this. First off, DR just passed Mexico in GDP per capita, PPP, purchasing power parity, right? So like on that metric, DR passed Mexico, GDP per capita, PPP, as measured through PPP, like, how much purchasing power each unit of income has here versus Mexico. So Mexico just said like, whoa, a power dynamic just shifted in Latin America because it's never been this way. DR was always over there, right? Mexico was the big economic power, and that's shifting. With that means that prices are higher, right? And again, it doesn't mean your dream life can't be realized, but like you both said, just be honest with yourself. I know a guy here, he lives in Punta Cana, he has a great job, but dude, you know what that guy does the second he can? He goes out to Anamuya. He goes out to the middle of nowhere to this shack he built, and he loves it. He's got horses, and that's the guy, man. He can live on $600 a month all day. He can. I'm not that guy. And to your point, Jay, about housing, like when we moved here, I was like, I mean, it's DR, robust. Let's just budget $1,500 a month for a house for our family. And then, like you said, we got here, we're like, well, we can find that in Punta Cana for sure, but we really like this for our kids and everything.
Exactly.
How much is a house? $4,000 furnished. And then once we did it, we're like, did we get gringo price? Like, then we went around like, oh no, we pay 45, we pay 5, we pay 38. We're like, that's the going rate. And I remember back then, you should buy a house here, Jamie. It's $450,000 in a third world country. You out of your mind? That house is $850,000 today. It just like I was the guy. So I'm not saying this from a standpoint of like everybody else doesn't get it. I didn't get it. Jay probably didn't get it. Jonah didn't fully get it until we got here and had lived experiences. And then we go out and share them and we get pushback from people who haven't lived it. And it's like, what's going on here? That's the frustration we exude, but we choose to do this. So go ahead, Jonah.
I got to clear something up. I'm seeing in the comments, guys. Go to Google. DR is a developing country, okay, guys?
Yeah.
Get the third world country stuff out of y'all's vocabulary because DR is a developing country. Just simply go to Google. Is Dominican Republic a third world country? And it's going to tell you it's a developing country.
They call it middle. What do they call it? Middle
upper income.
Middle upper income country. Yeah. Middle upper income country, and it's moved up from that. By the way, before I go to this comment, thank you for the donation, Nikki Abreu. Good to see you there.
What's up, Nikki?
All right, so this person, thank you. Let me in 22,100. $5, guys. I'm $5 richer. Appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you, guys. And hey, guys, wife and I looking to purchase home in Punta Cana after retirement, another 15 years. How do you think prices will be in that time? Rough estimate. What do you think, Jonah? I think. Look, 15 years is a long time. I think along that way, it's going to go up. There'll be some down. It's just like the stock market, right? Like, but now to then. Do you think double?
I bought like I'll just use this. I bought the apartment in Las Terrenas. I bought in two, there. The apartment that I bought during COVID, I bought it for like 165, 170, and I sold it for $300,000 3 years later. Prices in DR are I mean, it's very rare. It's very rare, Jamie. You were looking at real estate recently, Jay. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but it's very rare that you see like the collapse that you've been seeing like in the States. Like I sold my house in the US for over asking price. I went to Zillow the other day. I sold it for $550. That house is now valued at $411. It's very rare for you to see a condo or a townhouse here drop $100,000.
Well, there's two things, right?
High.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, because interest rates are so high here, that it controls that a little bit better.
There's very little debt. So people expect a crash, but a lot of crashes are based around, bad debt, like 08. And there's not a lot of speculation, like broad speculation, like in Miami, where people went in and bought 20 condos and just tried to sit on them and they ate up the market and then it all crashed on them. Like you don't have those two variables here. And on top of it, at least Punta Cana specifically is seeing population growth. So a lot of inventory coming online, but also a lot of demand for that inventory. I mean, I always say this, like real estate does cool. Like something will make it cool at some point. But point A to point B long term, I mean, if it's me, if I'm this person, I'm buying now, I'm paying it off over 15 years or whatever. I'm paying it off. I'm renting it out long term because I think Airbnb is a tougher market, but long term is a lot of demand because people are moving to Punta Cana. And then I'm owning that home. I mean, you could wait 5 years, but I do think prices continue to rise in at least the short term. And I can tell you, if you plot it today to what would 15 years, 2041?
Mm-hmm.
Whew, a lot.
And the other thing is like Punta, I really believe, and this is from somebody who I'm not gonna say I'm not the biggest fan, but like Punta Cana, I think it's just getting started.
Yes.
Like I
It doesn't
really
seem
do.
like it, but I think it absolutely is. Yes.
I mean, if you would have gone to Vista Cana 5 years ago, like that was just land. There was nothing. You go to Vista Cana now, and there's thousands of apartments that are already done. They just finished the new Ashton. So Punta Cana, I feel like people are always going there. The airport is huge. I mean, it's a big draw. And now Jet's crushing it there.
It's expanding too. You know what I say? Like right now, a lot of people from Santo Domingo, like you two, say, I got to get out of the city for the weekend. I'm going to go to Punta Cana. My prediction is, we talk about 2041, 15 years from now, people in Punta Cana are going to be like, I got to get out of this quote unquote city. I'm going to Miches. That's what I see happening over the next 15 years, for whatever that's worth. All right, let's get into this one quick. You guys got to go, by the way. I kept you over. You good?
No, I'm good.
All right. See, this is not having a job life.
Once the cook tells me the food's ready, that's when I got to go.
I ate before. I had her make me a ribeye. Absolutely. Yeah, living in that high society Punta Cana village life. I had a ribeye for lunch. Talk about living in Las Terrenas. What do you guys say? I mean, look, you're not going to get from any of us like there's a bad place to live unless you're going to live in someplace dangerous like Capotidra. Like, yeah, I probably wouldn't live there. But I don't think there's a bad place to live. It's just, but preference-wise, like, how do you guys feel about Las Terrenas? Jay, we'll start with you. Have you been there?
Yeah, I've been there.
What do you think about living there?
Well, I'll tell you what I think about the city. I don't know about living there, but the city to me, it's for it to be so small is real vibrant. It's a lot of stuff, a lot of movement. It's like a mini Santo Domingo
It's
almost.
crazy. I was just there for New Year's.
Yeah, I actually like Las Terrenas. I actually like Las Terrenas. I can see that it's developing. They're putting up a lot of hotels and not hotels, but apartments and condos. But don't know a whole lot about it. But I think it's a great place to invest and a nice place to go and visit.
Jonah, could you live there?
I don't know. Like, I love Las Terrenas. Like for me, Samana has the best beaches in the country.
No, you're not. That's fact. That's objective fact.
It's beautiful. I like how you have a bunch of virgin beaches. The real estate market there is booming. Las Terrenas is expensive. It's not cheap.
It's expensive, right?
Like yesterday, we were looking at beach. I went with a client yesterday. A 4-bedroom apartment in a brand new development was going for like $890, right? And so it's not cheap. And with Las Terrenas, I love it. The problem with Las Terrenas for Americans, not Canadians, is the airport.
Yeah,
that's the biggest problem, right? You have to either fly into Punta Cana or Santo Domingo and drive because there aren't any direct flights. If the government decides to add flights to Las Terrenas, be careful. Las Terrenas would blow up.
My challenge with Las Terrenas, I love it there. Like you said, great place to visit. We love going. We just rented this beautiful home for an Airbnb for New Year's. It's extremely busy there. Like you said, it felt like Higüey. It was like just so. It was crazy. And it's gotten busier as we've gone. The few times we've gone over the last few years. And then two, to your point, Jonah, like the access I think it's like if I didn't have kids and if I'm under 60, I think it's perfect because medical's hard to get to from there if you needed it. You got to go over the mountain for anything to Santo Domingo. There's no great airport access right now. There's an airport, but it's got like one flight from like Belgium and one from like Paris or something. It's like very, very limited flights in. And it's like, there's kind of one of everything. Like they're building America now, that new Jumbo America thing, but they only have a La Sirena. So if that's out,
right,
you're out. Go ahead, Jay.
Oh, no, I was saying the Merca Jumbo.
Merca Jumbo, yeah. So
you're bringing a Bravo there supposedly too.
Good. They need all that, right? Because like right now it's limited. It's like one good school, there's one clinic, there's one this, there's one that, and there's like one road that goes through it. Like there's, you know what I mean? Like, so I couldn't live there. My wife even more than me, she's like, not for me. I can't live there.
One thing that I don't think a lot of people realize is that Las Terrenas, they just got power like 20, 25 years ago. Like it wasn't even that long ago.
That's interesting.
So Las Terrenas is something that's very developed. Now, one of the things that they're going to have to improve there is their planning, because if they continue developing at the pace that they do, there's going to be issues because they have a lot of these narrow roads. It's gonna be chaotic. So I think that's an area of improvement that Las Terrenas can have. But one thing that I don't like, and I go to Las Terrenas a lot, is that it functions off seasonality. So if it's low season, then a lot of restaurants are closed. You can't have, access to certain things. But Las Terrenas is one of my favorite parts of the country.
We got some battles going on in the comments I'm not going to show. It's crazy. It's funny to see. Guys, let's all love each other. It's okay. I heard rumors that more international flights might be added. I hope so. I hope that does happen. I'm going on 3 years living in Villa Altagracia, moving from PA. That's amazing. Like that would be a hard transition for me to make to Villa Altagracia. That's like, like La Vega area. Like that. It's nice. We stop at a place called Michi in Villa Altagracia all the time, but on our way to Jarabacoa or Cabarete. But yeah, Cabarete. But that's good for you that you're there and loving. Oh, Nicole lives in Jarabacoa, right? Yeah. Nikki, she lives in Jarabacoa. Again, I couldn't live there. I love it there, but it is what it is. Man gets paid to clean up sargassum, turn it into bricks, build houses for those in poverty. That's true. There's a guy that did that, and then there's some other comments here out there. So a couple things before we wrap. So first off, listen, I gotta plug this because I love that what we have going with this DR Inner Circle that I've created. Just go to jamiegruber.com if you want to get deeper on these conversations. I'm featuring a bunch of exclusive content for that community. We get together once a month in Punta Cana. We've got such bustling WhatsApp communities. Check it out, jamiegruber.com. And the other thing I wanted to say or ask you guys is, have you had a moment, or is there something that would ever force you to go back?
Nope.
Nothing. Jonas says no. Not even a moment. Jay? I have one.
Have I experienced a moment?
Yeah. Have you experienced a moment?
Not here. Not as of yet. No.
I have one. When I went back to Boston, we went to Marshall's. Dude, we need Marshall's.
What?
Good.
I'm the complete opposite though. Like when I go to the States, I feel overwhelmed when I go into a grocery store. I feel like there's too much shit.
There was a lot of shit there.
Like I feel like how much? Like it's like, why is there so much? Like why? Like why do I need to choose from 100 cheeses? Like just give me 3 or 4 cheeses to choose from. Like I don't need a variety. I feel overwhelmed.
I love that. I spent $100 on like 3 pairs of jeans because I only wear jeans on occasion. I do anyway, and mine were like wearing out. So I got 3 pairs of jeans and a couple other things for like $100. It was crazy. I was like, oh my god, I miss Marshalls. I do miss, but you do. A friend here called it a Target run because she's lived here for like 7 years. She's like, every 6 months, you just gotta like hop to Miami, do your Target run, like enjoy those efficiencies, self-checkout, but then you get your ass back to the island. So I'm the same way. And we went through, I explained to you guys, we went through a pretty nasty like accident / legal, what's the word? Like legal come up in Cabarete. That was scary, man. Like, spend the night in jail kind of stuff. And the next week we sold our house in Michigan and we bought our house here. So like even running up against that. And we talked about this when we had the little roundtable we did at, what was the name of the restaurant, Jay? Lena's Table?
Oh, yeah, Lena's Chef's Table. When we sat there, we talked about it. And somebody at the table said it like the first week or month that I won't share who. First week or month they were here, they had a medical issue, and it was scary because in the middle of the night, who's the doctor, and they were able like an hour later to finally find the pediatrician for their kid and so on and so forth. Then you're like, I got to get out of here. What am I doing to my family? But the realization was like, oh, but wait, all that work. Now I know exactly what to do in the next scenario. And I feel like every experience I have here is just like anywhere else you would live, right? You learn the processes, the people, the interactions, the connections you need, like anywhere. And so after now going through that, like I know what to do, and God forbid we have to go through it again, but I know exactly what to do. Just like this person said, like, oh no, if my kid gets sick at midnight on a Tuesday, I know who to call and they answer. I know the doctor that I need to WhatsApp and they answer me, so it's just a different spot. So anyway.
And those that are moving here or thinking about it, make sure that you come with an open mind and willing to adapt. If you are unwilling to adapt to the way things are, where the doctors, stay wherever you are. Do not come here or anywhere in the world. You have to be able to be adaptable.
I love it. TJ Maxx was my jam, Anthony says. Mine too.
Well, City Trends was mine.
What is it?
City Trends.
City Tree? That's hilarious.
City Trends.
Here we go. We got, your panel is biased. I need American women on your panel. We got to get Nikki on here. We had Nikki. Nikki's Dominican American. We'll get her on here. And then Norbertus, she's Dominican. Never mind. Well, she's a Dominican woman. JXTXH says Punta Cana is a second Miami to me. I mean, sure. I don't know. It's a nice, developed, probably the easiest transition point for an American. It's the most Americanized part of the country, for sure. For sure. So, anyway, on that note, gentlemen, any last words of advice? Any last words of wisdom?
No, I mean, appreciate all the support, and for those that joined, I hope.
We had 200 people at one point here today, or just under 200. So it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. Jay, I appreciate you doing this, brother, as always.
Oh man, anytime. And I'll say the same thing real quick is that, if you come, it's going to, the time for you to get acclimated, especially in places like Santo Domingo, it's going to take some time. And I see a lot of people, they leave before they're able to actually get acclimated into the system. And people don't realize, once you get acclimated to what's going on here, it's on cruise control. Now it's going to be some turbulence here and there, but for the most part, it's going to be cruise control. But people leave before that even happens because they can't, they just can't wrap their head around the systems here.
And it took me, someone who's Dominican American that came all the time, it took me over a year to fully get acclimated. It's not something that you just get here, boom, I'm acclimated. No. You have to learn the banking system, the healthcare, everything. And those are the moments, Jamie, to back to your point, was like, do I want to go back? It's like, no, let me learn how the system works. Right. Now I just message my daughter's pediatrician on WhatsApp. Yeah. Easier than the States. Just message them on WhatsApp at the bank. Easy. I don't have to go to the bank. Right. So a lot of the fear that people instilled, I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Like, the way you're operating is like 1980s. Like,
on that point, I messaged my bank guy the other day because I'm like, my wife keeps going to Quesada to change dollars to pesos because it's a better exchange rate. Can you just give us the same exchange rate? He's like, oh yeah. Like, oh, okay. Well, that made it easier, but like that relationship matters, right? That relationship matters for sure. And there was one other thing I was going to say. Just so you guys know, I think I'm in Santo Domingo next weekend. Jonah, you're here 2 weekends out, right? But I'm in Santo Domingo next weekend for a Super Bowl party, a TED Talk, and there's something else I have to do all in one weekend. So I'll message you guys because we got to do dinner. We'll go to Toro. Jay pays.
Okay.
Yeah. Jay pays for
do it.
Because he's top 1%, I saw in here. Somebody mentioned being top 1%.
That's what they said.
Thanks to you, Jonah, as well, man. Thanks for jumping on, taking the time today, guys. I really appreciate it. Gentlemen, ladies, everybody, appreciate you watching. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Have a great one, everybody. Thanks, guys.
Peace.
Peace.